The Adventures of Panzer 3 is a new homebrew game being brought to us by Pixelcraft Studios for your Nintendo Entertainment System. It's an action platformer that definitely has some inspiration from Mega Man. You play as multiple characters throughout the game, and each of them have their own unique special ability, which I found awesome. You also get the ability to collect money throughout these stages and bring them back to a shop to add to your arsenal, with whether it's life level ups or even hiring a new character to join your squad. The story is set roughly 3 years after the thrilling events of the inaugural game. Panzer finds himself back at the helm of the raid leader of the esteemed Zargadens. However, despite the generous funding bestowed upon him by the World Council, Panzer's endeavors have yet to yield the desired outcome. It's time for him to roll up his sleeves and embark on a renowned quest for success. You have a large number of characters at your arsenal for this game, which I found to be super fun. So if you think about Mega Man, instead of grabbing the powers from the bosses, with this game, each character already has their own set of different abilities. It's up to you to find the right combination of characters to use through the levels that you choose to play. You have some characters that are archers that have a long-ranged attack. You also have wizards with long-ranged attacks. Panzer himself uses a sword but has a healing ability. And there's another character that hits probably 2 to 3 times as hard as anybody else. But it's completely up to you which characters you want to pick in order to try and complete the levels that you choose. The gameplay on this game is super smooth and responsive. I never felt frustrated by the controls or the mechanics, not one bit. The difficulty to me was a little bit on the easier side, but keep in mind I did play a beta copy of this game, so that might change a little bit. And it also didn't help that I had the developer in my ear during more than half of my playthrough of this game. If that weren't the case, trying to find the combination of characters to choose for each stage would have definitely made things a little bit more difficult and have a more trial and error feel to the game. Some other unique features of the gameplay were things like having to reload your quiver with some of the archers. Also, you want to be sure you're on the lookout for hidden areas during the entire game. This one definitely has some good replayability as well. You could try and conquer the levels a multitude of ways just by selecting different characters to use during the levels. So I think players are going to have a lot of fun experimenting with which characters to use for the different levels. Visually, the art direction is pretty simplistic, but don't confuse that for lazy or boring graphics. I thought the simplicity of the graphic style lent itself perfectly to the gameplay. The sound effects and the music are solid. I would dare say they're excellent. Not one time did the sound feel repetitive or dull. It's mostly upbeat and super enhance the overall experience. Biggest pro to Panzer 3 is the game is just plain fun with all the different characters to try and different ways to defeat the levels, and the gameplay is incredible. Yeah, I had an absolute blast from start to finish with this game. If I had to give one con, and it's super nitpicky, I would say the story was a little hard to follow if you haven't played the previous 2 games, which I have not yet. But in no way does that detract from the gameplay in the least, but I would have liked to see a little more story fleshed out for me. Final thoughts on this one? This game is the reason I love homebrew games. To get a unique, fun game with tons of replay value in 2024 for the NES, it's just fantastic. I loved my time with this game, and I can't recommend it enough. Adventures of Panzer 3, for me, it's getting an A. Thanks so much for checking out my review of Adventures of Panzer 3. All their links will be in the show notes, as long as where to purchase their game and all that kind of fun stuff. And if you like what we're doing here, please consider subscribing, hitting a like button. There's a bell, something, all the YouTube stuff. Just do all that stuff. That's it. Till next time.